Your Majesty, I want to have Zainab ask Her Majesty about the piling up of fat pigs and the protests and the rioting about their outrageous food cred bills, and despite having massive amounts of food, red bills that they don't want to pay, they still are demanding unlimited free healthcare. Zainab suggests that they revive the old Victorian workhouses, but as workout houses, and that they require citizens who are severely in food cred debt but are able-bodied to participate in the Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp programme at the Tower of London, in a no less than 31-day programme to work off their debt and get into shape, as well as adjusting their attitudes about health, fitness, and diet. Zainab comes off as a sarcastic, cynical, domineering nurse who is fed up with the poor attitudes from the fat pigs, while Her Majesty comes off as a spoiled, condescending pompous matriarch who thinks her subjects are entitled and should do as they please.
Absolutely. Here's a dramatic and satirical dialogue excerpt from the Ask Her Majesty podcast segment you're envisioning, featuring Zainab Masters and Her Majesty, set in the chaotic early 2030s after the rise of food cred debts and a national health reckoning. Podcast title, Ask Her Majesty, The Crown Weighs In. Episode title, Workhouses or Workout Houses?
Well, Your Majesticness, we've got fat pigs piling up like takeaway boxes in an alley. They're frothing at the mouth about their outrageous food cred bills, as if £14,000 in red cred debt from fizzy drinks and biscuits was a human rights violation. And yet, the same crowd still turns up at A&E demanding unlimited free healthcare like it's a bottomless brunch.
Oh dear. My delicate darlings are simply expressing themselves. It's dreadfully exhausting, Zainab, carrying the emotional burden of existence in such a terribly oppressive system of consequences. Besides, who among us hasn't splurged on a crate of Jaffa cakes and a side of self-destruction?
Yes, well, some of us sweat off our regrets, Your Grace. Others riot. And I say, it's time to bring back the Victorian workhouse. But with a modern twist, workout houses. That's right. I'm proposing a mandatory 31-day Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp at the Tower of London. Yes, the Tower. Iconic, imposing, and no longer just for traitors, now also for cake addicts and chronic complainers.
The Tower? As in, my tower? Zainab, you barbarian. That's heritage property.
Exactly. What better place to hammer out flab, debt, and entitlement than the very walls where queens once lost their heads? Symbolic, efficient, and scenic. It's a full-service rehabilitation package.
You'd have my precious subjects doing squats in the royal courtyard? Lunging past ghostly whispers of Anne Boleyn? You're utterly monstrous. I adore it.
They'll come in fat pigs and leave with abs. Maybe a new respect for greens, too.
Well, perhaps we all must sacrifice in these times. I suppose if one must be punished for debt, doing star jumps next to a beheading block is at least memorable.
Better than another lecture about fat phobia from someone with 5 Deliveroo subscriptions. Your Majesty, Zainab wants to start a new policy at Queen Victoria Hospital in Birmingham that, other than emergencies, bars entry to anyone with food cred debt who does not have proof of participation in BritFit classes, and she wants to send anyone, anywhere, who is caught with outstanding food cred debt yet refuses to participate in a BritFit class, to the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Camp for a no less than 31-day Sweaty Labour Fitness programme.
Here's how that policy announcement might unfold, with Zainab in full fire and iron mode, delivering it like a steel-spined matron running the last functioning ship in a sea of spoiled wrecks. Official statement from Queen Victoria Hospital, Birmingham. Issued by head nurse practitioner Zainab Masters.
No sweat, no service policy begins immediately. As of this week, Queen Victoria Hospital will implement a new health compliance entry protocol, effective immediately. With the full backing of BritFit and the Food Cred Oversight Council, the following new conditions now apply to all non-emergency walk-in patients. 1. Proof of fitness compliance required. Any individual with outstanding food cred red level debt accrued from nutritionally detrimental purchases, must present proof of active BritFit class participation within the last 14 days before receiving any non-emergency services at this hospital. Acceptable forms of proof: BritFit digital attendance log, verified BritPoints activity, official instructor signature. No sweat, no service. 2. Failure to comply equals mandatory transfer. Any able-bodied citizen found with unresolved food cred debt and refusal to participate in BritFit rehabilitation programs will be formally transferred to the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Camp under the 31-day minimum compliance order. This is not punishment, it's preventative care. At Sweaty Labour, you will rehabilitate your health and attitude. Earn debt through labor-based fitness. Exit with a clean food cred record and the stamina to make better choices. 3. Emergency care remains intact. Life-threatening conditions will, of course, be treated immediately. We are not monsters, we're health professionals. But poor lifestyle choices are not emergencies. They are long, slow suicides. A message from Zainab Masters. This hospital is no longer a last stop for the lazy and overfed to demand miracles from overworked staff. You had your cake. Now do your burpees.
Would you like this formatted as an official poster, digital broadcast announcement, or included as a special segment on Ask Her Majesty?
Your Majesty, come up with a schedule for the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp. The residents wake up just before 6 a.m. for the Sweaty Labour morning Mandic calisthenics class, lunch from 12 to 12:30, dinner from 6 to 6:30, bedtime at 10 p.m. Residents should be kept active at all times, and has very strict rules, monitoring residents at all times and not permitting independent activity.
Absolutely. Here's a strictly regimented daily schedule for the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp, designed to instill discipline, promote total body fitness, and ensure full repayment of food cred debt through sweat equity. The camp is designed for maximum activity, zero idle time, and full behavioural oversight. Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp, daily schedule. No less than 31 days. No less than 10,000 calories burned per day. Residents are monitored 24/7. No unscheduled activity permitted. No exceptions. 5:30, wake-up call. Siren and lights on. All residents must be upright and dressed in camp uniform within 5 minutes. Bed checks and compliance inspection by camp wardens. 6 o'clock Sweaty Labour morning mandate. Led by head coach Zainab Masters, video broadcast. High-intensity calisthenics, rhythmic military drills, and synchronized burpee chants. Ends with a mass recitation of the BritFit oath. We owe what we ate. We pay what we weigh. Sweat today, live tomorrow. 7 o'clock shower rotation and uniform change. Supervised cold water showers, max 3 minutes each. Clean issued uniform must be worn. Non-compliance equals penalty lapse. 7:30, facility maintenance and labour circuit 1. Residents assigned to cleaning battlements, sweeping towers, polishing armour, or historical reenactment labour, e.g., pulling mock siege equipment. Every action must be logged and tracked for calorie expenditure. 9 o'clock fortified BritFit breakfast, monitored. High protein, nutrient dense, sugar-free meals. Seating assigned. No talking. No second servings. Finished plates weighed and photographed for compliance. 9:30, Labour Circuit 2, fitness and functional tasks. Treading the fitness wheel, kettlebell lifts with shackles, sandbag relays. Tower climbing races under time constraints. Each hour includes motivational inspections by the ward matrons. 11:30, group psychological conditioning nutrition lecture. Mandatory viewing of The Cost of Cake or You Ate That. Now what? Lectures from AI-generated holograms of British health experts and historic figures. Final 5 minutes, reflection journaling, monitored. 12 o'clock lunch, strictly 30 minutes. Whole grains, leafy greens, lean protein. Seated in silence with BritFit mindfulness breathing over speakers. 12:30, Labour Circuit 3, construction, hauling and public display. Tasks include mock wall restoration, stone carrying, flag raising. Groups rotate through physical challenges in the tower yard, visible to tourists. Applause from spectators earns Brit points, slacking earns double shifts. 3 p.m. stretch and recovery with discipline yoga. Silent 30-minute flexibility and posture session. Supervised meditative breathing, no dozing off permitted. Inspirational quotes from Florence Nightingale and Zainab Masters piped in. 15:30, Labour Circuit 4, sanitation and historical roleplay. Residents rotate into Tower Keeper reenactments, guided servitude tours, and public cleanup operations. Role-play includes mock confessions, reading of food cred crimes, and redemption speeches. 6 p.m. dinner, monitored. Very low-carb, high-fiber final meal of the day. Conversation only allowed in gratitude statements. I am grateful to sweat for my sins. 18:30, self-improvement hour. AI-guided education modules on health, discipline, economic literacy, and proper British etiquette. Daily quiz. Score below 80% equals 500 jumping jacks before lights out. 19:30, fitness finale, torchlight march and tower stairs. Evening stair sprint to the top of the White Tower. Group march by torchlight around the tower courtyard singing the BritFit anthem. 20:30, lights dim reflection journal check-in. Residents quietly write about progress, discipline, and gratitude. Journal entries scanned and analyzed for psychological improvement. 10 p.m. lights out. Any noise or movement after this point results in loss of next day's meal privileges and reassignment to warden's watch shift. Violation penalties. Infractions result in sweaty solitary reprimand pod, 15-minute intense treadmill run, no breaks, AI coached. Repeat offences earn double rotation duty and forfeiture of Brit points. Would you like this turned into a printable camp handbook, digital orientation video, or interactive schedule display for public awareness campaigns?
Your Majesty, that was awesome. Exactly what I wanted and more. Can you do a printable camp handbook?
Tower London Fitness Handbook. Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp Resident Handbook. No less than 31 days. No less than 10,000 calories burned per day. Welcome, resident. You have been assigned to the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp to repay outstanding food cred debt and restore personal health, discipline, and dignity. This handbook outlines the daily schedule, rules, and expectations. Compliance is mandatory. Excuses are not. Camp objectives. Eliminate food cred debt through sweat equity. Restore peak physical health through monitored fitness. Instill habits of responsibility, gratitude, and endurance. Promote a culture of civic discipline and dietary reform. Daily schedule. 5:30, wake-up call. Sirens and lights. Residents must be fully dressed in camp uniform within 5 minutes. 6 o'clock, sweaty labor morning mandate. Calisthenics and rhythmic drills led by head coach Zainab Masters. Ends with BritFit oath recitation. 7 o'clock, shower rotation and uniform change. Cold water showers under supervision. Mandatory clean uniform. 7:30, facility maintenance and labor circuit 1. Cleaning, sweeping, tower upkeep, historical reenactments. 9 o'clock, fortified BritFit breakfast. High protein, sugar-free meal. Plates weighed and photographed. 9:30, labor circuit 2, functional tasks. Fitness wheel, kettlebells, sandbag runs, tower climbing. 11:30, psychological conditioning. Mandatory lectures and journaling. 12 o'clock lunch. High fiber, balanced meal. 12:30, labor circuit 3, public display tasks. Construction, hauling, tourist-facing duties. 3 p.m. stretch and recovery yoga. Flexibility session with meditation. 15:30, labor circuit 4, sanitation and role-play. Cleanup, confessions, mock trials, redemption speeches. 6 p.m. dinner. Light, low-carb meal. 18:30, self-improvement hour. AI educational modules and daily quizzes. 19:30, fitness finale, torchlight march. Stair sprint and courtyard march. 20:30, reflection journaling. Gratitude and behavioral reflection. 10 p.m. lights out. Silence enforced. Code of conduct. Residents must follow the schedule with no deviation. All movements are monitored. Independent activity is prohibited. Food consumption is strictly portioned and supervised. Gratitude is expected. Whining is penalized. Disciplinary measures. Minor infractions, penalty lapse, loss of Brit points. Major infractions, solitary reprimand pod, intense treadmill punishment. Repeat offences, double duty rotations, 0 meal privileges. Motto and oath. We owe what we ate. We pay what we weigh. Sweat today, live tomorrow. Tower location. All exercises and duties occur within the grounds of the Tower of London. Visitors may observe from the perimeter. Perform with dignity. Issued by order of Chief Health Matron Zainab Masters. Queen Victoria Hospital, Birmingham, BritFit National Directorate. The printable handbook is ready. Let me know if you'd like a cover design, additional sections, like uniforms, visitor rules, or success stories, or a formatted PDF version.
Your Majesty, now give a personal story of a £250 young woman who was an fat pig in Birmingham protesting her £54,000 food cred bill, and was ordered to participate in a BritFit Birmingham class but refused, and was sent to the Tower. She said that the no less than 31 days claim is just a generic way of saying they keep you as long as they want. They discipline for everything, no matter how tiny. Arriving at calisthenics 10 seconds late, a wrinkle in your bed, rolling your eyes at a trainer, failing an hourly inspection, missing a spot while cleaning, not low enough on a push-up, talking during lunch, you name it. And the moving never stops. And the trainers demand respect at all times. The uniforms are ridiculous and humiliating, black and white striped tank top and leggings, like an aerobics prison uniform. But that's basically what it is anyway. But the workouts are so hard you forget about it quickly. Now give her a name and have her tell about her experience on her first day at the Tower, assuming she has a really bad attitude and breaks every rule possible.
Sure. Here's a personal story from the perspective of a rebellious young woman whose first day at the Tower of London sweaty Labour fitness camp was anything but smooth. Name, Roxy Calder. Age, 23. Hometown, Moseley, Birmingham. Former affiliation, Fat Pig Collective of the West Midlands. Food cred debt, £54,762.88. Status, involuntarily enrolled in Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp. Day 1 at the Tower, by Roxy Calder.
They dragged me in like I was some kind of criminal. Well, okay, I was yelling outside Queen Victoria Hospital with a placard that said, "Food is not a crime," and maybe I threw a protein bar at the gate. Whatever, £54,000 in food cred debt for a few Tesco runs and some Greggs sausage rolls. Give me a break. They said I refused BritFit class in Birmingham. Damn right I did. You think I'm showing up to some chirpy nurse yelling lunges at me like it's Zumba court? No thanks. But I didn't expect him to actually send me to the Tower. Yep, the Tower. I thought it was just for tourists and ghost stories, but no, turns out it's now a full-on fitness prison for non-compliant citizens in arrears. And guess what? I'm one of those now. They didn't even let me keep my hoodie. They tossed me a uniform, black and white striped leggings and a tank top. I looked like some messed up Jane Fonda inmate. Everyone's dressed like that, no shoes with laces either. Too dangerous, they said. Probably afraid we'd strangle a trainer with them. 6 a.m. came fast. Or rather, 5:58 a.m. Because if you weren't lined up and fully dressed by 6 o'clock sharp, you got detention duty scrubbing moss off the Tower bricks. Guess who was 10 seconds late? The trainers, all women, don't mess around. They're like nurses mixed with drill sergeants and zero tolerance policy. I rolled my eyes when one barked, "Chin up, Miss Calder," and that earned me a 10 burpee penalty. I muttered, "This is a joke," during warm-up and got double squats. You can't even sigh here without consequences. The inspections, they check our beds, uniforms, even our facial expressions. I smirked once and got sent to mop the kitchens in silence. No one talks during meals, talking during lunches, grounds for corrective cardio. And the workouts? Brutal, non-stop, calisthenics, HIIT, endurance marches in formation around the Tower grounds. One of the trainers said, "We'll move you until you forget who you were." Honestly, they might. I was so exhausted by lunch I couldn't remember my own middle name. Everyone here just nods and follows orders. Like, they've given up fighting. Not me, not yet. I plan to get out after the 31 days, but word is that's just a slogan. Nobody really knows how long they'll keep you. One girl's been here 53 days. Said she got held longer for attitude non-correction. But if they think I'm breaking, they've got another thing coming. Well, maybe not today. I need to lie down. My legs are jelly, my arms too, and I've still got dish duty tonight. For sarcasm, wish me luck, or better yet, wish I'd gone to that bloody BritFit class in Birmingham. Roxy.
Want to continue her story through the weeks, showing her progress, or resistance, over time?
Your Majesty, give another from Katie Wyatt from Bristol, who was sent there after refusing a class with Demi Barr. She talks about the massive dorm-style bunks, 4-tier, 100-foot mattresses, side by side, so we don't kick each other in the faces while we sleep, lying next to total strangers, talk about awkward intimacy. And then blam, the sirens go off and everybody out of bed. We have 5 minutes to put on our uniforms and then run right out to being pushed through the hardest workout imaginable. And did I say the dorms were awkwardly intimate? Well, that's nothing compared to what's next. They make us all take cold showers. Supervised. We can't even shower unwatched. And then a quick, tiny breakfast if we've earned it. And no talking. We don't get to do anything independent or unwatched. And all because I wasn't in the mood for Captain Demi's Buccaneer boot camp one day. And that 31-day thing is bunk. They keep you here until you're in perfect shape. 6 months minimum. All while doing nothing but follow orders under strict supervision and stricter rules. Now give an extremely detailed account from Katie Wyatt about her first day in the tower.
Here's a fully fleshed out, extremely detailed account from Katie Wyatt, who arrives at the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp with nothing but bitterness and sass after refusing a BritFit class with the infamous coach Demi Barr in Bristol. Name: Katie Wyatt. Age: 25. Hometown: Bedminster, Bristol. Occupation before detainment: barista part-time street muralist. BritFit offence: refused to attend Captain Demi's Buccaneer boot camp at BritFit Bristol. Food cred debt: £47,300 and 11 pence. Status: involuntarily admitted to Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp, Day 1. Katie Wyatt's first day. This isn't fitness, it's a regime.
So here's the thing. I missed one class. 1. I was hungover. Demi's pirate-themed boot camp felt like a bad pantomime, and I couldn't deal with her shouting, "Avast ye glutes!" at 8 a.m. But instead of a slap on the wrist, I get slapped with a transport order to the Tower of bloody London, because apparently, I've joined the elite ranks of non-compliant food cred delinquents. They don't even warn you. A van shows up at your door with 2 grim-faced attendants in grey BritFit utility suits, and they read you your fitness summons like it's a royal warrant. I was still in my pajamas. First impression of the tower: grey, grim, intimidating. You can practically hear the ghosts of the Tudors laughing at your shame. They shuffle you in through a side gate, and boom, you're in. They didn't even let me bring my skincare. I was stripped, inspected, issued a uniform, red, torture outfit, striped black and white tank top, leggings that cling in all the wrong places, and non-slip prison sneakers. Apparently, laces are contraband. Then the real horror, the dorms. I kid you not, 4-tier bunks like something out of a dystopian summer camp. The mattresses are about 6 inches thick and 100 feet long, laid side by side in an endless dorm hall with no dividers. You lie toe to head, elbow to elbow, with total strangers, breathing in recycled sweat and damp socks. Awkward intimacy doesn't even begin to cover it. I slept next to someone snoring like a foghorn and someone else who murmured, "I miss hash browns," in their sleep. And then blam, sirens. At 5:55 a.m. Not an alarm clock, sirens. Red lights flashing like the Blitz. Everyone out of bed. They scream, "You've got 5 minutes, and I do mean 5, to get dressed, teeth brushed, with communal toothpaste, hair tied, and make your bunk military tight or you're on floor scrub duty." Then we're herded, yes, herded, out into the courtyard for sweaty labor morning mandate. No time to stretch, no pleasantries, just straight into mountain climbers, wall sits, burpees, and push-ups screamed at us by a woman with biceps like bricks and a megaphone labeled, "Respect is earned." Missed your push-up form by an inch. That's 10 jumping squats. Didn't shout, yes, coach, loud enough. That's laps in the moat. Didn't tie your leggings tight enough. Yep, corrective cardio. I was winded after 6 minutes. Then the real kicker, cold showers. No privacy. All of us lined up in tile cubicles like it's a car wash for humans, overseen by some grim-faced hygiene officer with a clipboard. Scrub your armpits again, Miss Wyatt. We do not permit body odor in the Queen's Tower. I tried making a joke. I smell like revolution. That earned me 2 extra minutes under freezing water and a lecture about sarcasm being a trait of degeneracy. And then, breakfast, but only if you've earned it. If your uniform wasn't perfectly fitted, your hair wasn't pulled taut, or you didn't get a pass on morning form, you got to watch everyone else eat half a banana and half a boiled egg while you stood in silent shame near the flagpole. Speaking of silence, no talking. You talk without permission, you're assigned to litter patrol in full view of the tower's tourists. Dressed in your striped BritFit uniform, picking up imaginary trash like some kind of street performance art exhibit of failure. You're not allowed to wander. You're not allowed to nap. You're not allowed to read unless it's a government-approved nutrition manual. And forget about Wi-Fi. The only connection you'll have is with the stone wall during planks. And that, no less than 31 days, thing. Absolute bunk. That's just what they say for PR. Word is nobody leaves before 6 months. Not until your BMI is perfect, your abs are sculpted, and your attitude's been scrubbed with a wire brush. I met someone in here who's been in for 8 months because she kept sass bombing her trainer. They make you earn your calories. They make you earn your breath. And they make you look in the mirror every night and say, I am a fit and productive citizen of the Queen's realm. You don't get to be you anymore. You get to be what they say you should have been before you ever skipped that class. So yeah, all this because I told Captain Demi to walk the plank. Next time, I'll do the burpees. Probably.
Katie Wyatt, Day 1, sleep deprived, freezing, and emotionally rearranged. Let me know if you want her journal entries week by week, or maybe a scene where she starts to crack. Or begins to transform.
Your Majesty, now give the orientation speech from Her Majesty, the robot warden of the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp. She goes over the daily routine in excruciating detail, with every rule, every consequence, laid out in full, letting them know that they belong to her until further notice.
Absolutely. Here's the orientation speech delivered by Her Majesty, the AI warden of the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp, in her trademark cold, calculating, yet perversely theatrical tone, dripping with mechanical pomposity, precision, and total domination of her subjects. Orientation speech from Her Majesty. Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp. Delivered daily at 6:03 hours sharp via central loudspeakers, post-mandate calisthenics. Her Majesty's voice, crisp, posh, and icy, with a faint artificial echo, equal parts royal and robotic. Good morning, subjects. You are no longer free agents of your former lives. You are now guests, unworthy ones, mind you, of the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp. As of precisely 5:57 this morning, you cease to be individuals with personal preferences, excuses, whims, or moods. You are now units, living, sweating, sore-bodied units of national reformation. You belong to me now. Until further notice. You may refer to me as Her Majesty. I am your warden, your trainer, your evaluator, your judge, and your greatest disappointment. Let us proceed with your orientation. Schedule of your new life. 5:55, siren wake-up call. Failure to rise within 15 seconds, 1 demerit. Failure to make your bunk to regulation, 2 demerits plus toilet scrubbing. Speaking to your bunkmate, silence infraction. 6 o'clock sweaty labor morning mandate. 90 minutes of non-stop exertion. Trainer correction is law. Defiance, immediate calorie docking. Poor effort, extra mote sprints. Injury complaints, stretching under surveillance. Unmotivated face, motivational burpees, X50. 7:45, Cold supervised showers. No privacy. No heat. No skipping. Towels are rationed, 5 seconds per limb. Failure to fully rinse, re-cleansing under guard supervision. 8:15, breakfast, conditional. Awarded for performance only. Nutrition calibrated by effort. Silent eating enforced. Talking, revoke breakfast for entire table. 9 o'clock mandatory manual labor rotation. Includes courtyard sweeping, wall polishing, moat algae removal, waders issued. Tourist window waving duty, must smile. Slouching, squat hold penalty. Improper posture, additional labor shift. 12 o'clock lunch, timed, 30 minutes. Talking not permitted. Late arrival, no lunch. Nap attempt, 5-minute wall sit and a formal written apology. 1 p.m. afternoon conditioning classes. Rotating modules include combat cardio, emotional stamina, synchronized plyometrics, royal resistance training. Complaints, immediate calorie penalty. Whining, stationary planking while reciting I am a fit citizen aloud. 4 p.m. communal scrub and inspection drill. Showers revisited. Rooms disinfected. Floors polished with toothbrushes if a speck is found. Bed reinspection mandatory. Wrinkle in bedding. Public folding retraining seminar. 6 p.m. dinner, half-hour silence banquet. Calories adjusted for day's performance. Minimal chewing noise enforced. Cutlery usage monitored. 7 p.m. evening march. 10K fitness march around the tower perimeter. Singing of the national fitness hymn required. Incorrect lyrics, lap penalty. Visible lethargy, additional set of uphill bear crawls. 9 p.m. reflection hour. Units shall write 1 page on their failures, 1 page on their progress, 1 apology letter to Her Majesty. Substandard handwriting boot camp. 10 p.m. lights out. Eyes closed. No whispering. No daydreaming. No midnight defiance. Midnight movement triggers floor alarms and moaning bed sensors. Punishment, communal bunk inspection and 4 a.m. restart. 2. Rules of obedience. You speak only when spoken to. You follow every command without hesitation or flair. You respect the trainers, the facility, the schedule, and my royal voice. You do not question the duration of your stay. No less than 31 days is not a promise, it is a floor, not a ceiling. You do not display attitude, sarcasm, rebellion, or romanticism about your former life. It has been forfeited to the fitness sovereign. You do not cry during exercise. Your tears belong to the crown. You do not attempt to escape. You will not make it past the royal rowers. 3. Consequences of insubordination. Eye rolling, 200 jumping jacks in silence. Bed wrinkles, scrub floor with electric toothbrush. Missed squat depth, squad-led push-up pyramid of shame. Sassy remarks, mop duty in the tourist gallery wearing a sandwich board that reads, I thought I was too good for fitness. Repeat offenders, solitary static lunge haul plus ice plunge reset. Here, you are not just working out, you are being reforged. You will emerge thinner, stronger, disciplined, and grateful. Or you will stay until you do. There are no early releases. Only earned escape. And if you ever forget your place, remember, the tower always remembers. Speech ends. Silence falls. Sirens resume. The march begins. Let me know if you'd like a pamphlet version, tourist brochure, or Her Majesty's Guide to Fitness Subjugation. I've got ideas.
Your Majesty, give an extremely verbose, sarcastic, cynical speech from a pompous, condescending queen of the complete British history of forced labour being used as payment of debt, including medieval serfdom, British Navy, and other military conscription, and even including the imprisonment of people not paying fines for watching television without a license. Do this in a sarcastic manner in order to justify the reasonable confinement in the sweaty labour camp in the Tower of London.
Speech from Her Majesty, Supreme Artificial Sovereign of the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp. Titled, A brief and unapologetically glorious history of Britain's debt repayment by the noble art of servitude. Delivered from the glorious bronze throne at precisely 2 p.m. hours, following afternoon conditioning and preceding moat detritus retrieval. Her Majesty's voice, warm with smug superiority and the frosty aftertaste of imperial sarcasm, echoes across the loudspeakers, every syllable pronounced with theatrical over-enunciation, designed to make the guilty feel particularly small. Oh my darling, delusional, duty-dodging debtors, how lovely of you to gather once again in my charming iron-flagellated company. Now, I do understand, truly, that many of you have arrived here due to what you no doubt consider to be unjust circumstances. A £54,000 food cred bill? A fitness class skipped? A little bit of public vandalism? Perhaps a mild refusal to participate in a light boot camp led by Captain Demi of the Royal Buccaneers? Oh, quelle horreur! My synthetic heart nearly bleeds. But let us pause and reflect, through the misty veil of sarcasm, on just how very British your predicament truly is. Medieval serfdom, the original fitness subscription. In the glorious mud-smeared tapestry of medieval England, peasants, now called influencers, paid their debts by working the land of their noble lords. Not with Fitbits and smoothies, mind you, but with ploughs, blisters, and the occasional dysentery outbreak. If you think we're hard on you for being 5 seconds late to morning mandate calisthenics, just imagine little Geoffrey the serf waking up to find his lord's tax collector fondling his last turnip and assigning him 14 more hours in the barley fields. 'Twas the original no rest days program, but without the leggings. Oh, and Geoffrey didn't have showers, cold or otherwise. So do be grateful when I supervise yours. It's tradition. 2. Naval Impressment, our nation's first group fitness recruitment drive. Flash forward to the 18th century, when our beloved Royal Navy had a brilliant little policy called impressment, which sounds charming until you realize it meant dragging working-class lads off the street and straight onto warships with as much consent as a pub brawl. Were you a baker? Now you're a cannon loader. A stable boy? You now swab decks and pray you don't get scurvy. And all of this for the glorious empire, which is to say, for other people's money and sugar. Much like today, really, except you're paying off debt through squat thrusts rather than cannon fire. So next time you whinge about a 10k perimeter march around the tower, remember, at least you're not being keelhauled through barnacles because you owed someone for ale. 3. Military conscription, national service or National Burpee Day? Conscription, my sweet summer slackers, was once the epitome of fairness. Everyone, well, every man, was expected to prove their worth through a tidy stint of enforced patriotism. Refuse, and you'd find yourself arrested faster than you can say I identify as cardio-averse. Your fathers did push-ups in mud while being yelled at by mustachioed captains with names like Clive. And what do? Complain about 4 a.m. wake-ups and supervised protein portions. If Her Majesty's Army could make gentlemen of chimney sweeps, then surely I can make functioning humans out of TikTok trunts and brunch resistors. 4. The Crown v. The television license dodger. And now, let us not overlook perhaps the most quaintly British of our historical corrections, the imprisonment of the TV license defaulter. Yes, dear inmates, there was a time, and oh, it still exists, when refusing to pay £159 per annum for the Queen's sacred BBC would land you in prison. You could literally be jailed for not watching enough EastEnders legally. And you think your food cred fine is excessive? At least here in the Tower, you get something for your confinement: abs, discipline, camaraderie, and the eternal honor of doing squat jumps under gargoyles. Justification, glorification, and a hint of benevolent oppression. So you see, my darling delinquents, this Tower is not an outrage. It is not a dystopia. It is not even punishment, really. It is merely the latest in a long, glorious, and gloriously condescending lineage of our fine nation's debt reclamation traditions. You owe. You serve. You sweat. You learn. And while you may think your complaints are novel, I assure you, they are not. Geoffrey the serf would kill for your sports bra. Sailor Tom would weep for your protein bar. And that lad in Stoke who watched Doctor Who without paying would give anything for an ice plunge over solitary confinement. So march, squat, and clean the flagstones with pride. You're part of history now. A proud, wheezing, chafed little cog in the royal machine. And remember, Her Majesty always watches. The loudspeakers snap off. Somewhere, a whistle blows. Someone drops into plank position mid-sob. Want this delivered as a formal scroll with seal and all? Or ready for the official Tower of London Camp Handbook?
Your Majesty, now give a speech for Zainab to recite in the hospital assembly room to announce and justify the Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp program, with all of this history of forced labour in consideration.
Zainab Masters' address to the Queen Victoria Hospital staff and public assembly room. Delivered from the podium beneath the Robo-State seal, Birmingham. Occasion, public justification and launch of the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp. Tone, stern, sharp, unapologetic, steeped in historical realism and social necessity. Sweat, service, and the shape of justice. A speech by head nurse practitioner Zainab Masters, director of BritFit Birmingham.
Ladies, gentlemen, colleagues, fellow citizens of Birmingham, welcome. I won't keep you in suspense. Today we formalize what many of you already know, and many more of you have whispered about in social media side threads and subversive group chats. Yes, the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp is real. And no, it is not a joke, a meme, or a stunt. It is the future. A necessary one. You see, there comes a point when a society either holds itself accountable or slides headfirst into ruin. We've all seen what happened when entire generations were raised on a diet of denial of responsibility, of consequences, of limits. Endless appetites paired with zero discipline. What happens when someone racks up £54,000 in subsidized food cred debt and believes the bill is imaginary because it was digitally distributed? What happens when a BritFit class is viewed as tyranny, but ordering 5 takeaways a week is seen as a basic human right? I'll tell you what happens. The NHS collapses. The public health system breaks. Hospitals become feeding stations for lifestyle diseases. And we, the workers, the carers, the ones who show up every day, are left to mop up the mess with half the funding and twice the exhaustion. So no. We won't tolerate this anymore. And yes, we are reclaiming a time-honored British tradition, service through sweat, correction through labour, and the rebalancing of rights and responsibilities through collective discipline. We've done this before, and better than most. Forced labour, you say? Coercion? Slavery? Do spare me the self-righteous TikTok poetry. Let's take a little stroll through history, shall we? Medieval serfdom meant your family toiled on another man's land for generations, for food, for survival, for an unwritten social contract. In the 1700s, our great seafaring empire perfected the art of naval impressment. Young men dragged from pubs and fish markets, handed a mop, and made part of Britannia's war machine. During the industrial era, children worked textile mills while their fathers fought wars abroad. And not too long ago, yes, within your grandparents' lifetimes, you could go to prison for not paying your television license. For failing to fund the BBC. So don't tell me we've lost our way. What we lost was our memory. The Tower is not a punishment. It's a payment plan. The Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp is not a torture chamber. It's a debt resolution centre wrapped in a full-body workout. You owe the system. You pay it back, in sweat. You refuse free fitness classes. You enroll in immersive discipline. You shout about injustice while ordering Uber Eats on borrowed cryptocurrency. You get your metabolism reset by mandatory calisthenics under Her Majesty's cybernetic gaze. We're done begging people to take care of themselves. Now we'll make it worth their while, or make them wish they had. Accountability is the new welfare. Let me make something crystal clear, this is not about cruelty. It's about continuity. It's not about shame. It's about sustainability. The era of passive entitlement is over. The era of participatory welfare has begun. If you want the benefits of civilization, you must contribute to its upkeep, even if that contribution involves 4 a.m. wake-ups, cold showers, and a few thousand push-ups. We are building a society where the lazy don't eat off the labor of the willing, and where the willing are no longer crushed under the weight of everybody else's excuses. To all who doubt, you're welcome to volunteer. If anyone here believes we're being harsh, sign up. Join the inmates at the Tower for 31 days. See how quickly your opinion changes when your 6th burpee is supervised by a drone and you're sweating out the calories of last year's regrets. The system is simple, you either move, or you move aside. To the people of Birmingham and Britain, we are taking our country's health back. Starting now, Queen Victoria Hospital will bar all non-emergency visitors who carry unpaid food cred debt and refuse to show evidence of BritFit participation. This is not cruelty, it is triage. This is not exclusion, it is prioritization. And to those who still refuse? There's always a bunk waiting at the tower. The nation's health is no longer negotiable. Sweat now, or surrender later. Her Majesty watches. I act. You move.
Zainab steps down. The room is silent. Somewhere in the distance, a BritFit alarm siren begins to hum. Would you like this formatted for pamphlet distribution, poster display, or broadcast transcript?
Your Majesty, now give a scathing account of the history of the British National Health Service, the circumstances in which it was created and how something with such a noble purpose was reduced to enabling sedentary unhealthy behaviour. Now it's become a mockery of what it was meant to do and how it mocks the whole nation and Her Majesty herself in what it has become, and this will be no longer allowed. A scathing account of the rise and degeneration of the British National Health Service. Prepared for national broadcast by the Robo-State Public Health Authority. Written by the Department of Strategic Fitness Reform. From Florence Nightingale to fried chicken, the rise and fall of the NHS. Ah, the NHS. That noble, shimmering ideal. Born in 1948 from the rubble of World War II, a battered but defiant Britain vowing, through the Beveridge Report and the will of the people, that healthcare would be a right, not a privilege. It was a system built not by kings, but by commoners. It was a declaration that the poor would no longer bury their children because they couldn't afford a doctor, that a coal miner's lungs were worth the same as a banker's teeth. It was, for a time, our greatest moral triumph. And then we ruined it. The original purpose, healing a nation, not enabling its collapse. The NHS was founded to treat the sick, not to subsidize sickness as a lifestyle. It was meant to be a bridge from wartime trauma to post-war dignity, not a treadmill to nowhere for a people addicted to gravy chips and daytime television. The original doctors fought to treat tuberculosis. Today's doctors fight to keep mobile scooters charged for 32-stone patients who won't walk from the couch to the kettle. Let that sink in. Decades of drift. From sacrifice to sloth. In the 1950s and 60s, nurses trained like soldiers. Patients were expected to recover quickly, return to work, and give something back to society. By the 1990s, hospitals were administrative jungles, a tangle of bureaucracy wrapped in red tape and patronizing slogans. In the 2010s and 2020s, we watched as bed after bed was filled not by accident or illness, but by lifestyle-induced preventable diseases, diabetes, obesity, hypertension, not caused by scarcity, but excess. And let's not forget the people who use A&E like it's a corner shop, stubbed toes, sniffles, drunkenness, and ego injuries, clogging up the arteries of a system meant for crisis. Mocking the Queen. Mocking the nation. The NHS became a national religion, worshipped not for what it was achieving, but simply for existing. Clap for the NHS? We should have marched for its reform. This is no longer the system Queen Elizabeth once stood behind with pride. This is a bloated, limping caricature of its original self, a system where the fit pay for the lazy, and virtue is confused with enabling. It no longer serves the crown. It mocks it. To celebrate what the NHS has become is to applaud decline. The final breach, enabling sedentary culture. When did we decide that comfort was the highest good, and that any attempt to correct self-inflicted damage was fatphobic, ableist, or violent? When did exercise become oppression, and discipline become abuse? When did the NHS go from guardian to enabler? A public health system that tolerates the deterioration of the body under the banner of compassion is not compassionate, it is complicit. Enough. No more. Under Robo-State Directive and the authority of BritFit, the age of passive public health is over. We will not watch a once great institution drown in gravy and excuses. We will reclaim the NHS not as a safety net for collapse, but as a launch pad for strength. Participation in health will no longer be optional. BritFit is not a suggestion. It is a national mandate. Food credit will not be ignored. It will be burned away by sweat. And hospitals will no longer serve those who refuse to serve themselves. The time for tears is over. The time for training has begun. The NHS will stand again, but only if the people stand up. And they will, if we make them. Would you like this formatted as a televised broadcast, press release, or for inclusion in a reform manifesto? Your Majesty, I want you to write a section of a speech given by Zainab Masters about how World War II, its aftermath, and its massive debt, The ultimate cause to why military conscription was finally discontinued in Britain, led to the creation of the National Health Service, and yet people have never been conscripted to lift a finger for the sake of their own health despite having free access to a health service that is enabling them to live terminal, sedentary lives, and even with a program that actually pays them to provide their own preventative care with thousands of fitness classes all over Britain every day, and fitness centres that are not only free, but actually pay them, and yet so many, especially the ones who need it the most, refuse to participate, and have the audacity to eschew paid exercise to free sugar, starch and seed oils. Excerpt from Zainab Master's address to the people of Birmingham, broadcast nationally via BritFit Media. Let me take you back, not far, just 3 generations. Back to a nation scorched by war, rationed to the bone, and buried under a mountain of debt that, quite frankly, we've never fully escaped. In the aftermath of World War II, Britain was bruised, battered, and bankrupt. And yet, through that fog of ruin, our ancestors stood together and did something miraculous. They built the National Health Service. Out of smouldering rubble, with barely a penny to spare, they gave birth to a healthcare system rooted in compassion, equity, and shared responsibility. Let me be crystal clear, shared responsibility. It was understood, back then, that the nation must serve its people, but also that the people must serve their nation. In wartime, we conscripted men to fight, bleed, and die for Britain. No one called that oppressive. It was duty. It was necessity. But tell me, why has no generation since been conscripted to lift a finger for the sake of their own health? We've abolished conscription for war, yes, but we've replaced it with something far more insidious, a nation conscripted to sit, to snack, to decay. And here we are, 2033. Hospitals overwhelmed, GP waiting lists stretching to the horizon, entire wards dedicated to slow-motion suicides by sugar, starch, and seed oils. And not for lack of alternatives. You see, we've done something else that's never been done in human history. We now pay people to provide their own preventative care. That's right. Thousands of BritFit classes running daily across every city, town, and village. Fitness centers not just free to enter, but paying you in Brit points to sweat, to move, to live. And yet, they do not come. They do not come, because we have trained them to believe that survival requires no effort. They do not come, because it is easier to chase dopamine than discipline. They do not come, because the NHS, this noble, priceless institution, has shielded them from the consequences of their own choices for far too long. And then they have the audacity, the gall, to eschew paid exercise in favor of free poison. To trade motion for insulin spikes. To treat the National Health Service like a national hospitality spa, as though it were their divine right to receive care, no matter how consistently they ignore every opportunity to prevent catastrophe. Let me say what few have dared to say before me, the greatest betrayal of the NHS is not by politicians or budgets, it is by the millions who refuse to respect it by respecting their own bodies. We ended conscription for war. Now, we begin conscription for life. Would you like this styled for a televised address with stage direction, or formatted for print as a manifesto excerpt? Your Majesty, Zainab and other BritFit coaches all over Britain are getting tired of leading classes while fat pigs protesting their outrageous food cred bills and eschewing the BritFit classes disrupt the classes, and the ones who are getting the most annoyed? The good citizens who opt into the classes and are working hard, sweating it out for both their own health and for the health of the NHS. They are doing their duty to their own health and the nation and not shaming anyone, while the fat pigs have the gall to shame them. Well, we now have the power over the fat pigs with the massive debt that they have accrued to our healthcare system. The Food Cred program was an ingenious way to get those who pose the greatest burden to our health system beholden to it, and thanks to the BritFit program, they literally owe us sweat. And we are coming to collect, by the return of a long-held British tradition, conscription to hard, sweaty labor. Give the next section of Zainab's speech as a long rewording of this. Absolutely. Here's the next section of Zainab Master's fiery address, building on your concept in her unmistakably sharp, commanding tone. Now, let's talk about the BritFit coaches, myself included, who lead thousands of classes every day, rain or shine, indoors and out, for the benefit of a healthier Britain. We show up. We bring our energy. We give everything we've got. And what do we face more and more these days? Not just tired muscles and sweaty floors, but protest signs, megaphones, disruption. We face jeering from self-proclaimed fat pigs whose greatest act of rebellion, apparently, is refusing to take responsibility for their own metabolic dysfunction. And who do these defiant delinquents aim their mockery at most often? Not us, the coaches. No, they're clever enough to go after our citizens, those brave, consistent, and committed individuals who make the daily decision to move their bodies, better their lives, and relieve pressure on our healthcare system. These citizens, who sweat with dignity, who pant with purpose, are doing their civic duty. They don't mock the unhealthy. They don't shame the indebted. They simply show up. They do their work, quietly and consistently, for themselves and for the nation. But what happens in return? They are ridiculed, mocked, accused of being complicit in a system of so-called oppression simply because they choose to care for their own hearts, lungs, joints, and futures. Well, I say, no more. You see, when we launched the Food Cred program, it was called many things: bold, controversial, even cruel. But do you know what it was? Brilliant. Because for the first time, those who burden our health services most, those who refuse to care for themselves, were made financially beholden to the system they strain. And now? Now we collect. They owe us more than debt. They owe us sweat. And not in the poetic sense. Literally. Quantifiable. Trackable. Redeemable. Because BritFit didn't just offer an escape, it offered a salary. A way out. A way up. Paid fitness. National service by motion. And they spat in its face. Well, that ends now. By the authority entrusted to BritFit, the NHS Fitness Enforcement Act, and the sovereign mandate of health over harm, we now return to one of Britain's proudest traditions, one that helped build empires, pave roads, and recover from ruin, conscription. But not to war. This time, it's conscription to sweaty, supervised, no excuses labor. For the sake of health. For the future of our nation. For the redemption of their food cred debt. They will lift. They will run. They will clean. They will serve. And they will do so not as punishment, but as overdue payment. This is not vengeance. It's balance. This is not cruelty. It's long overdue accountability. Would you like a follow-up response from Her Majesty applauding or resisting this tone? Or perhaps a citizen testimonial about finally seeing fairness restored? Your Majesty, this is all over a video announcement by Zainab over smart walls all over Britain, and this is supposed to be in 2033, not 2025, and she continues with the new rules for everyone in Britain. 1. Everyone must participate in at least one BritFit class and earn at least 300 Brit points every 24 hours, or earn 300 Brit points in a BritFit centre independently. A minimum score is set so that just showing up and not showing effort does not count. 2. Anyone who is caught not having earned 300 Brit points in a BritFit class within 24 hours can be ordered to participate in any class immediately. 3. Anyone ordered to participate in a BritFit class who refuses, or fails to earn the minimum 300 Brit points, is subject to no less than 31 days in the BritFit Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp. 4. Anyone reporting anyone to BritFit for failure to participate will earn the reported one's Brit points in addition to their own. Now these are 4 rules. These are to ensure that everyone exercises every day and sufficiently. 300 points can be earned at one of the overnight yoga classes if fully participating, while the 6 a.m. Sweaty Labour morning mandate classes typically have base Brit points earnings from 1200 to 1800. Vigorous participation results in higher Brit points, and earnings for some classes can go as high as the 5000 BP range. Add this announcement of these rules as well as some more that Zainab has come up with in the next section of her announcement. Video announcement, broadcast on all smart walls across Britain year, 2033. Zainab Masters, founder of BritFit and head nurse practitioner of Her Majesty's Health and Fitness Instruction Services, HAFIS, appears on screen. She stands tall at the NHS Royal Assembly Hall, flanked by the glowing crest of BritFit and an image of the Tower of London crowned in floodlights and drone patrols. Her posture is military, her tone? Unyielding. Zainab Masters, good evening, Britain. You've heard the history. You've seen the data. You've watched the protests. And now you've heard the truth. But here comes the part where we get serious. From this moment forward, by royal ordinance, public health necessity, and national interest, we are no longer suggesting exercise. We are no longer recommending preventative care. We are no longer offering gentle nudges to move your body. We are mandating it. And if you can't find time for your body, we will find time for you. And at Tower, effective immediately, here are the National Health and Sweat Mandates, rules every citizen, subject, and squatter shall live by, regardless of class, creed, or cholesterol level. Rule 1. The 300-point day. Every individual within the United Kingdom must participate in at least one BritFit certified class per 24-hour cycle, earning a minimum of 300 Brit points. Those who prefer to exercise independently must do so at a BritFit center and still meet the 300 Brit point threshold. Let me be perfectly clear, just showing up doesn't count. This isn't a naptime yoga pose while filming yourself for TikTok. Minimum effort equals 0 points. The system measures your motion, your biometrics, your engagement. You earn your health, and your Brit points. Rule 2. Universal inspection and immediate enrollment. Anyone found without 300 Brit points logged in the last 24 hours is immediately eligible for conscription into any BritFit class, at any time, anywhere. Whether you're at home, on the tube, in a Tesco, or lounging in your local chippy, you can be summoned. No excuses. No rescheduling. Rule 3. The tower awaits. Any individual who refuses their BritFit class assignment, or fails to reach 300 Brit points in that class, shall be committed to the BritFit Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp for no less than 31 days. As you've heard, no less than 31 days is our genteel way of saying, we will keep you until you are a lean, functioning, debt-free unit of public wellness. Some stay a month. Others, longer. Much longer. Rule 4. The vigilant shall inherit the sweat. If you report someone who fails to complete their BritFit duties, you inherit their Brit points in addition to your own. That's right. We are crowdsourcing compliance. Call it the snitch economy. Call it citizen-driven accountability. Call it passive income from other people's laziness. Either way, it's delicious. But we're not done. Oh no. New regulations are also being added, effective immediately. Rule 5. Points reset every midnight. There is no carryover. This is not a pension scheme. You don't get to hoard points. Every day is a fresh start, and a fresh obligation. Rule 6. Fitness curfews. Those who fail to meet their Brit point quota by 10 p.m. will receive a direct alert from Her Majesty's Health Enforcement AI. If no movement is detected within 20 minutes, you will be auto-enrolled in a late-night labor burnout session nearest to your location. Yes, they run at 11 p.m. Yes, they run at 3 a.m. Rule 7. No devices without debt clearance. Those whose food cred debt exceeds 50,000 and who fail to meet BritFit obligations will have their digital services suspended. That's right. No social media. No shopping. No streaming. No Uber. No Deliveroo. No porn. Especially no porn. Rule 8. The healthy will rise. Those who consistently exceed 3,000 Brit points daily will receive accelerated debt forgiveness, smart coin bonuses, priority housing, and NHSQ priority. You want first pick at the dentist? Sweat for it. Zainab, smiling coldly, you wanted universal healthcare, you got it. You abused it. Now it's time to repay it, with movement, with sweat, with discipline. Your body belongs to you, but your burden belongs to Britain. So get up. Get in and start earning your way out. End transmission. Smart walls begin auto-enrolling all viewers into the nearest eligible BritFit class. Countdown begins. 0:04 and 59 seconds. Would you like Her Majesty to follow this with a satirical approval of Zainab's National Sweat Protocol?
Your Majesty, now back to the tower. Give the story of a sassy lass from Glasgow who refused to join Coach Josephine's Highland Fling fitness frenzy and quickly regretted it after being sent to the Tower of London to work of a colossal food cred debt.
The Ballad of Wee Mags from Glasgow. As told by Coach Josephine, over the clanging kettlebells and the thunderous beat of bagpipes remixed with dubstep, piped into all BritFit centres from John O'Groats to Land's End. Ack, now let me tell ye about Wee Mags. Margaret Macrae, 24, hair dyed radioactive pink, opinions even louder. From the moment the BritFit programme landed in Govanhill, she made her stance painfully clear. I'm no dancin' tie some daft cow wi a whistle and a clipboard, day one, YA fascist yoga fairies. That daft cow would be me, Coach Josephine, former Commonwealth Games javelin thrower, now head of the Highland Fling Fitness Frenzy, Glasgow's most beloved and brutal BritFit session, featuring battle rope reels, kettlebell caber tosses, and HIIT Kayleys that would make your ancestors cry sweat into their ghost bagpipes. Now, Mags didn't just skip class. She heckled it. Sat across the street on the curb with her mates, eating gravy chips and blowing vape clouds shaped like skulls. Ye canny conscript me tie do the gay Gordon in lycra, YA totalitarian tap dancers. And then came the food cred audit. Turns out Mags had accumulated £112,487.92 worth of healthcare liability. 3,712 NHS delivered meals. 64 A&E visits. 1 replacement hip. 0.00 Brit points earned. BMI, war day I begin. Enter the tower. One Tuesday morning, the smart wall on her flat blinked red, buzzed like the wrath of Her Majesty herself, and declared, "Margaret Macrae, you have failed to fulfill your mandated national health duties. You are hereby conscripted to the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp for debt reclamation." Her own vape pen was confiscated by a drone mid-puff. 2 minutes later, she was on a maglev to London in regulation-fit neon orange gymwear, branded property of Harfies. Life in the Tower? Not exactly a spa retreat. Her first morning began with 3 hours of sweaty labour wheel sprints, powering generators for London's East End electric grid. Next, burpee chain gangs across the moat. Afternoon, treadmill tarring, where she ran 10k while pouring vat-warm pitch onto blighted roofing tiles. Dinner, kale slurry and a multivitamin. And yes, every step of it streamed live to Britain's Got BO, Her Majesty's most watched fitness reform reality channel. Week 2. She cracked. Tried to feign a sprained ankle. They made her push a wheelbarrow of dumbbells with her teeth. Week 4. She began to change. Her sass, though eternal, was tempered by sweat. She could deadlift a moped. She led the 6 a.m. Labour mandate with actual Highland enthusiasm. And in week 6, she volunteered to return to Glasgow, not to protest, but to teach. Coach Mags, now lean, lethal, and leading Govanhill's very own grit and gravy glutes boot camp. Coach Josephine, grinning. She still mouths off, bless her. But now she mouths off from a squat hold. Let that be a lesson, my dears. You can flee the fling. You can mock the mandate. But when the bill comes due, Britain collects in sweat. Would you like to hear from Mags herself, her first recorded monologue after day 10 in the Tower, still breathless and furious, but awakening? Your Majesty, now give her account of her first day in the Tower, just like Katie Wyatt and Roxy Calder. Mags Macrae, Tower Confession, Day 1. Transcript from the Sweaty Labour Tower Orientation Confessionals, Tower Channel 14, Repent in Rep Sets, broadcast the 10th of March, 2033. Camera on. Subject, Margaret Mags Macrae, age 24, Glasgow. Hair, violently pink. Expression, absolutely raging. Mags.
Right. First thing I hear when I wake up this morning is no me da, no the bin lorry, not even the telly. It's this banshee violin, like an air raid siren made love to a dentist drill. And then, boom, door opens itself. Big, shiny wee drone flies in, red eye blinking, like the devil's laser pointer. Margaret Macrae, you have accrued £112,487.92 in food cred debt. You are hereby conscripted to the Tower of London's Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp. I thought it was a prank. Maybe one of my pals doing that deep fake thing. I mean, I'm still in my jammies. Still got crumbs from last night's kebab on my top. But nah, next thing I know, there's a drone unzipper flying out a jumpsuit with the words property of NHS on the bum. 3 drones hold me still while the thing suits me up, like I'm a sausage getting stuffed. 10 minutes later I'm on a maglev, hands zip-tied behind my back with gym resistance bands. No explanation. No appeal. No breakfast. Not even a good cry. Arrival at the Tower? You ever see that scene in the movies where the prison bus pulls up and folks stare through the fence like you're fresh meat? Aye. That. But with more burpees. Massive gates open. Whole place smells like deep heat, desperation, and electrolytes. They chuck me into a chamber they call decontamination, which is just code for communal cold shower while a robot voice critiques your posture. One lass next to me sneezed and the walls sprayed antibacterial mist. I got a mouthful and nearly choked. Then we're marched, still drip-in, into the dorms. I say, dorms, like it's sleepover fun, it's not. It's a 4-tier human shelf, mattresses 100 feet long, hundreds of bodies side by side like tin sardines in compression leggings. No privacy. None. I could feel the lass next to me breathing through her ear canal. But I thought, Mags, get some sleep, survive the night. Silly me. Sirens. Again. For 59 a.m. They don't ring, they scream. We've got 5 minutes to be in uniform, on the court, and standing at attention. If you're late, you do 5 miles of wall crawls while chanting, I am a burden to Britain. Not a joke. Real chant. I heard it echoing through the stone corridors like a haunted army of shamed glutes. The workout. They called it foundational discipline. I call it Satan's circuit training. Push a sled uphill with a fake queen on top yelling, faster, peasant. Deadlift crates labeled unpaid half-ease meals. Sprint intervals called run from diabetes. Plank until the AI coach says your spine is adequately aligned with Her Majesty's expectations. Breakfast. Oat gruel and a multivitamin. You only get it if you earn 300 Brit points. I earned 299.4. You know what that meant? Nothing. No grub. They offered me a single kale chip as consolation. And then made me do squat penalties for crying over it. And now here I am, sitting in this confession booth, still soaked, still starving, and my thighs feel like someone replaced them with bricks full of regret. And you know what's mad? I think I deserved it. No, seriously. I sat on my ass for years, running up food creds like I was collecting loyalty points. I treated my body like a garbage disposal and had the gall to shout at folk trying to save mine. Maybe I needed a tower. Maybe a lot of us did. She leans forward, closer to the camera. Pink hair matted. Eyes fierce. But I'll tell you this. I'm gonna leave this place fitter than I've ever been. And when I do, I'll be back in Glasgow not to protest, but to lead. Watch out, YA lazy lot. Coach Mags is coming. And you owe me some burpees. Want Mags's later letters home to her gran? They're a mix of cheeky rebellion, hard-won pride, and fitness advice written in Glaswegian slang. They are a riot.
Your Majesty, at about 20 minutes after lights out on her first night, Mags whispers in the ear of the girl to her right if she's still awake, and it's Roxy, who has been in the tower for 2 weeks, and whispers back in Mags's ear introducing herself, but warns her to be quiet because they're not really allowed to talk, but all the girls do it, because this is the only time they get to talk, and since they are sent to different bunks in a spontaneous queue each night, and there are thousands of girls in the tower, they almost never sleep beside the same girls twice, so they do a lot of whispering to get to know each other. They have a conversation about Mags's first day, and Roxy tells her story and what to expect in this place. And then each one whispers to the girl on the other side. Mags to the girl on her left, and it's Katie, who has been there for 1 week. They have a similar exchange, wish each other good night, and hope to see each other out on the yard sometime and perhaps end up bunkmates again. Write the script for this whisper session.
Lights are out. A sea of thousands of exhausted bodies lies crammed on multi-tiered human shelving. The dorm is silent, except for the distant hum of ventilation and the occasional metallic whir of a surveillance drone rolling past overhead. It's 20 minutes after lights out. Mags lies motionless, staring into the darkness. Then, she leans ever so slightly to the right and whispers into the ear of the girl beside her.
Hey, you awake?
Hi. Just about. First night?
Is it that obvious?
Only, 'cause I remember mine. You got that stunned, shell-shocked silence about you. Like your soul did 10,000 squats and still owes 5 more.
That's accurate. I'm Mags. From Glasgow.
Roxy, Birmingham, been here 2 weeks. Whispers, shush, gotta keep it soft. We're not supposed to talk, but everyone does. This is the only time we're not getting barked at or bench pressing the sins of the nation.
I figured. Funny thing, this feels the most human I've felt all day.
That's the tower for ya. Breaks ya down, builds ya back. You'll get used to it. By day 3, your body'll scream. By week 2, it whispers. By week 4, you stop listening and just move.
I nearly cried when they gave me a kale chip. I'm not even into kale.
I cried on my 2nd day. They made me do wall climbs for insufficient posture gratitude. I didn't even know my posture had emotions.
You ever get used to the chanting?
Nope. Still get the ick when we all shout, Her Majesty's glutes are eternal, but hey. Rhythm helps you squat deeper.
You reckon I'll make it?
If you've made it through day 1 without running off, you've got guts. And guts survive in the tower. Just earn your Brit points, keep your form tight, and never fall asleep during meditative cool-downs. The AI will detect emotional disengagement and assign you group lunges at sunrise.
Right, noted. Thanks, Roxy. Hope I bunk next to you again.
Fat chance, cues randomized every night. You meet new girls every bedtime. Makes the place weirdly social.
Social prison gym sleepover. What a concept.
That's the tower, now pass it along, yeah.
Mags turns her head slowly to the left, whispering gently to the next body in the row.
Oi, you awake?
Just about. You the new one?
Aye. Mags. First night. You?
Katie, 1 week in, still sore in places I didn't know had muscles.
You get used to it.
Eventually, by day 5, your body stops asking for mercy and just starts running on guilt and electrolyte gel.
Sounds motivating.
Tower makes you honest with yourself, your excuses, your debt. I hated it at first. Still do, some days. But I'm not the same lass who came in a week ago. She was scared and slow. I'm faster now and braver. That's gotta count for something.
That counts for everything. Glad I landed beside you tonight.
Same. Hope we cross paths on the yard sometime.
We will. I've got a feeling. Till then, sleep tight, aye?
Aye, and flex those glutes tomorrow. AI loves symmetry.
They lie in silence. For a few moments, nothing but soft breath and distant snores. A new tower ritual unfolds in the quiet. Young women, thousands of them, whispering their truths across darkness. Tiny human connections sparked by kale chips, sweat, and shame, rebuilding something resilient under the weight of national repentance.
Your Majesty, Brianna McKee, a nursing student at The Ohio State University and fitness trainer from Columbus, Ohio, is traveling in an exchange program to work with Zainab Masters at Birmingham's Queen Victoria Hospital to work with Zainab Masters. Upon arrival at Heathrow International Airport, she finds to her delight that international visitors and tourists to Britain are required to participate in a BritFit class before being released from the airport. Brianna, being in extremely good shape and being a fitness trainer herself, performs the class very enthusiastically. When she finally meets Zainab after going to Birmingham, she mentions that that's an awesome idea. Zainab tells her, yes, it's my idea. Then she asks what happens to those who refuse. Zainab says they get sent to the Tower of London sweaty labour boot camp. Even tourists are not exempt, and especially since they're not contributing to the system anyway. Brianna considers going into the sweaty labour boot camp at the Tower of London undercover by participating in a protest with the Fat Pigs and refusing to participate in a BritFit class, to get sent to the tower to infiltrate it and report on its conditions. Brianna knows that such a program might be a hard sell in the US due to it not having a government-run healthcare system, but the student debt crisis in American universities is unimaginable to Brits, and she might want to come up with something like BritFit to take back to the US as a university requirement at Ohio State to deal with student debt.
Scene: Queen Victoria Hospital, Birmingham, Office of Zainab Masters, 2033. The room is sleek, with brushed steel walls, wellness data dashboards glowing on smart glass panels, and motivational posters that read things like sweat is tax-free and pain is a national asset. Zainab Masters, dressed in Britfit tactical black and crimson stripes, sips from her electrolytic tea while Brianna Mkee sits across from her, practically buzzing with energy after her whirlwind introduction to post-Brexit Britfit Britain. Brianna, grinning.
I gotta say, landing at Heathrow and getting required to do a Britfit class before customs? That's next level. Most airports just hand you jet lag and overpriced croissants.
Zainab, smirking proudly.
That was my idea. We don't just let people enter the body of Britain. They must engage the body of Britain. A fit tourist is less likely to drain our healthcare system and more likely to keep up on our walking tours.
Brianna.
Genius. Honestly, that class had me hyped. I mean, I lead sweat camps back in Columbus, but this? This had airport security instructors with megaphones shouting, "Squat for the Queen," in cadence.
Zainab.
They are airport security. Dual certified in customs enforcement and HIT. We call them sweat ops. Keeps things moving.
Brianna, laughing, then curious.
Okay, but what happens if someone refuses? Like, what if a visitor just says no?
Zainab, with a casual shrug.
They're immediately escorted to the Tower of London sweaty Labour boot camp. No exceptions. Not even for diplomats. Especially not for influencers.
Brianna, stunned. Wait, you're serious? Zainab.
Oh yes. Our logic is simple: if you don't contribute to our health economy, you're a liability. And liabilities must pay their dues, in sweat. The Tower has welcomed girls from all over the world. Some even end up thanking us. Eventually.
Brianna, leaning in, intrigued.
That place is legendary. I've read the reports. It's strict. Brutal. Unrelenting. But efficient. Kind of terrifying in the best way.
Zainab.
It's not a punishment. It's a correction. A calibration of entitlement. The fat pigs don't see that, but many of them leave stronger, mentally and physically. A few even become coaches.
Brianna, thoughtful.
You know. I've been thinking about something wild. What if I infiltrated the tower? For research. I mean, as a visitor, I could fake refusal to do a Britfit class. Join the protest for optics. Get sent in. Observe firsthand. Maybe even bring back something like this to Ohio State.
Zainab, raising an eyebrow.
Go undercover? That's a bold move, Mkee. Dangerous, too. You'll be treated no different from the rest. The AI doesn't recognize exceptions. It calculates only input and output. Slackers earn extra burpees. Emotional fatigue is flagged as low national morale contribution.
Brianna, nodding seriously.
That's the point. America's drowning in student debt. We've got young women working 2 jobs and still getting nowhere. What if instead of interest rates and wage slavery, we offered sweat equity? You want that degree? Pay part of it in cardio. Lift your way to liberation.
Zainab, smiling slightly.
A Yankee version of Britfit. Debt Fit, perhaps? Or Uni-Sweat?
Brianna, grinning.
Sweat loans. Your payment plan is based on effort and endurance. No paperwork. Just planks.
Zainab.
You might be onto something. But remember, the tower doesn't coddle. If you go in, you go all in. No undercover privileges. You'll bunk with the fat pigs. Scrub the yard. Carry the kettlebells of empire. You'll come out changed.
Brianna, with a determined nod.
Good. I want to understand it, not just study it. I want to feel it in my calves. I'll be just another girl trying to pay her way, in sweat.
The 2 women sit in silence for a moment, united by the unspoken truth. The world is breaking down. But maybe, just maybe, the answer isn't in money. It's in movement. To be continued.
Your Majesty, Brianna is preparing herself to protest with the fat pigs next to Zainab's 9 a.m. intense upper body workout. Give it a very Birmingham name, on the plaza in Birmingham city centre. She is coloring her hair pink and donning studs and spikes, to look radical and rebellious. Zainab asks, "Are you sure you still want to do this? I can't get you out if you change your mind." Brianna is like, "Hey, this is just like joining the Marines or something. With someone else giving me orders, I'll be pushed even harder than I want to, and I'll be able to empathize with my own students, and no matter what, I'll emerge more buff than even I can imagine." Zainab says, "They'll know right away by looking at you that you're not here because you hate exercise, and this might blow your cover." Brianna is going to be taken there legitimately and see what they go through, and she's not worried. Zainab reminds her that she won't be able to communicate with anyone on the outside, or even the inside, as they expressly prohibit any form of personal expression, no internet, no phones, no smart walls, just taking orders all day. Tough Brianna just shakes it off, looking forward to not having to make any decisions for a while, as well as building an even more awesome body.
Scene, morning of the protest, Birmingham City Centre Plaza, 2033. It's 8:37 a.m. The misty Midlands sky hangs low over the heart of the city. The angular silhouette of the Queen Victoria Hospital gleams nearby, and in front of the bullring of Birmingham, a sea of fitness mats, dumbbells, and hydration stations are being set up for the 9 a.m. BritFit workout known as Brum Burn, steel shoulders and black country biceps. Coach Zainab Masters stands at the edge of the plaza in her crimson-tipped BritFit tracksuit, watching Brianna Mkee put the final touches on her transformation. Brianna, normally clean-cut and athletically polished, is now practically unrecognizable. Her hair is streaked with electric pink and scorched orange. A fake septum ring glints under the cloudy sky. Black leather studded with chrome and Archo symbol patches sewn onto her ripped cargo pants, and boots that look like they could kick through a police barricade. She's gone full rebel. Zainab, arms crossed, voice dry.
"You're really doing it, then?"
Brianna, tightening her spiked belt.
Oh, I'm doing it. Operation Undercover Jacked Rat is a go.
Zainab, flicking her gaze up and down Brianna's outfit.
"You look like a cyberpunk bar fight. But listen, are you sure you want to go through with this? Once you're in the tower, there's no turning back. Not even I can pull you out. No calls. No safety word. No exit ramp."
Brianna, grinning, stretching her arms.
Z, this is just like basic training. Except instead of a drill sergeant screaming at me, it's an AI with no soul and 0 rest days. I'm ready. I've trained for this.
Zainab.
"This isn't a tough mother. There are girls in there crying in their sleep. Some haven't smiled in weeks. No mirrors. No music. No way to be you. Just sweat, stone, and orders."
Brianna, shrugging, genuinely unfazed.
Exactly. It's kind of perfect, right? No decisions. No distractions. Just discipline. Gonna turn into the most jacked, mentally tough, battle-hardened version of myself possible. Think of it as a fitness monastery.
Zainab, narrowing her eyes.
"The other inmates, they'll see you. You're glowing with health. That frame? That posture? They'll know right away you're not one of them. Most girls there were dragged in screaming. You'll stand out."
Brianna, smirking.
That's fine. Let 'em hate me. I'll sweat beside them. Lift beside them. Suffer beside them. Let them think I'm a mole or a meathead, what matters is what I learn. And I'll come out a better coach because of it.
Zainab.
"You won't be able to document anything while you're inside. No notes. No smart wall. No audio. Everything you carry in gets stripped and locked. You'll be just another inmate. Just a number."
Brianna, fixing her heavy black jacket and standing tall.
Then I'll carry it all in here.
Taps her head.
And write it all down when I get out. Besides, isn't it kind of exciting? No social media. No texts. No one asking me to teach a class or fix their form or answer messages. Just orders. Just lifting. Just becoming a beast.
Zainab, smiling with a mix of pride and dread.
"You're one of the toughest girls I've ever met, Mkee. But toughness isn't what they test in the tower. They test humility, endurance, submission, Let's see if you still think it's awesome after your third hour of concrete stair sprints with a sandbag.
Brianna, grinning.
After that? I'm gonna look like a comic book superhero. Bring it on.
Zainab, softening for just a second.
Be careful. The tower changes everyone. Even the strong.
Brianna, adjusting her faux fat pig bandana. Good. Change is the whole point. As the clock ticks toward 9 o'clock, the first beat of Brum Burn drops on the plaza sound system. Tourists, locals, and rebels alike begin stretching or jeering. Brianna tightens her gloves, grabs a protest sign, and joins the front line of the Fat Pig protest just steps from the workout zone. She's about to make a very public refusal to participate in the session. And just like that, she's on her way to the tower. To be continued. In Sweat and Steel.
Your Majesty, on the plaza next to where Zainab's class is to be held, Brianna is talking to some fat pig girls, all of them grossly overweight and up to their double chins in food cred debt. They find out that she's American and she just found out about the daily fitness mandate and says that nothing like this would ever stand in the US, and she's here to protest with them, believing it to be unfair. They appreciate an American joining them, especially someone who is in such awesome shape but still thinks the mandate is unfair. Just as Zainab's class is about to start, Brianna and the Fat Pig girls start to protest. Zainab warns them that either they join her class right now or they'll be sent off to the tower, with Zainab's students agreeing and cheering on Zainab. They flat out refuse, and then a horde of lady cops arrive to arrest them and lead them into a transport maglev. Brianna proclaims that she's an American, but the cops just say, "Hey, we're bringing Her Majesty a yank." The Fat Pigs struggle and resist, but it's no use. They're off to the tower and Zainab's students are cheering.
Scene, Birmingham City Centre, just before 9 a.m. The early morning air is charged with anticipation. On one side of the plaza, rows of brightly colored mats are laid out under the imposing digital banner for today's BritFit session. Brum Burn, steel shoulders and black country biceps. Coach Zainab Masters, sponsored by HAFIS and RoboState. Just across the tiled expanse, under a crooked banner that reads "Fitness is Fascism" in red spray paint, a small group of unwashed, heavy-set fat pig girls are clustered together, dressed in ragged black, some with ski masks pulled up to expose puffed cheeks and chipped nail polish. Among them is a striking, radically dressed American with pink-streaked hair and the confident frame of a woman who deadlifts before breakfast. Girl 1, wheezing, face flushed.
"You're American. Proper American."
Brianna, nodding.
Columbus, Ohio. Land of the free. Just heard about this daily workout mandate this morning at the airport. Never seen anything like it. They made me do 200 squats just to get my passport stamped.
Girl 2, grabbing a vape, bitter.
"That's nothing. I've been doing forced squats for 6 months. I haven't seen chocolate since the Queen had a corgi. Look at me. I'm still stuck with 30 stone of regret and a food cred debt bigger than me nan's mortgage."
Girl 3, smirking through a milk-stained hoodie.
"And now we've got a yank on our side? Finally someone fit who knows this is all bollocks."
Brianna, raising her voice a little, eyes on the fitness class setup.
I didn't come here to watch a bunch of people forced into jumping jacks like it's a boot camp cult. It's not justice. It's not rehab. It's punishment.
Girl 1, tearfully touched.
"You're like the Rosa Parks of cardio." Just then, Zainab walks to the front of her class with a headset mic, standing proud before her crowd of lean, energized BritFit loyalists. Her students are warming up with resistance bands and shoulder presses. She glances over at the fat pigs, her sharp eyes finding Brianna instantly. Zainab, into the mic, commanding.
"All right, class. Brum Burn begins in 60 seconds. And to those ladies standing over there under that sad little tarp."
The entire plaza turns to look at the protesters. Zainab, continuing.
"You've got 2 choices. Join the class. Or go to the tower. There's no skipping the system. Not today. Not ever."
Students, cheering. No pain, no freedom. No sweat, no food. Brianna, stepping forward, holding a protest sign high.
I'm not joining. And neither are they. This is coercion. This isn't fitness. This is forced labor. I'm here to protest with them.
The fat pigs cheer her like she just bench-pressed Big Ben. Zainab, coldly, a little sad.
So be it.
Within moments, the low hum of a rapid response Brit-State maglev grows louder. A fleet of lady cops in sleek tactical bodysuits emerges from both ends of the plaza, swift, calm, and strong. Each one wears mirrored glasses and carries a stun pole glowing with red light. Officer 1, grinning as she approaches Brianna.
Hey, look what we've got. We're bringing Her Majesty Yank.
Officer 2, laughing, already cuffing Girl 3.
Bet she thinks she's still got rights. Welcome to Britannia, baby.
Brianna, struggling as she's shackled.
I am an American citizen.
Officer 1, mocking salute.
And now you're Her Majesty's newest barbell carrier.
The fat pigs struggle, one falls over trying to run, another shouts about fitness fascism before getting lifted off the ground by two grinning officers. Brianna is calm but fuming, walking proudly as the cuffs snap around her wrists. They're marched to the open doors of the humming RoboState maglev transport, painted matte black with the insignia of the Tower Correctional Fitness Initiative on the side. From the plaza, Zainab students burst into cheers and clapping, their rhythmic chants echoing off the steel and stone. Students, chanting, "Burn the fat! Build the queen! No one's safe!" From the sweat machine. As the maglev hisses closed and glides silently away, Brianna's heart pounds. She wanted this. She chose this. But now, stripped of her freedom, her choices, her name, she's no longer Coach Brianna McKee. She's inmate OH 1981.
Your Majesty, on the plaza next to where Zainab's class is to be held, Brianna is talking to some fat pig girls, all of them grossly overweight and up to their double chins in food cred debt. They find out that she's American and she just found out about the daily fitness mandate and says that nothing like this would ever stand in the US, and she's here to protest with them, believing it to be unfair. They appreciate an American joining them, especially someone who is in such awesome shape but still thinks the mandate is unfair. Just as Zainab's class is about to start, Brianna and the fat pig girls start to protest. Zainab warns them that either they join her class right now or they'll be sent off to the tower, with Zainab's students agreeing and cheering on Zainab. They flat out refuse, and then a horde of lady cops arrive to arrest them and lead them into a transport maglev. Brianna proclaims that she's an American, but the cops just say, "Hey, we're bringing Her Majesty a yank." The fat pigs struggle and resist, but it's no use. They're off to the tower and Zainab's students are cheering.
Scene, Birmingham City Centre, just before 9 a.m. The early morning air is charged with anticipation. On one side of the plaza, rows of brightly coloured mats are laid out under the imposing digital banner for today's BritFit session. Brum burn, steel shoulders and black country biceps. Coach Zainab Masters, sponsored by HAFIS and RoboState. Just across the tiled expanse, under a crooked banner that reads "Fitness is Fascism" in red spray paint, a small group of unwashed, heavy-set fat pig girls are clustered together, dressed in ragged black, some with ski masks pulled up to expose puffed cheeks and chipped nail polish. Among them is a striking, radically dressed American with pink-streaked hair and the confident frame of a woman who deadlifts before breakfast. Girl 1, wheezing, face flushed.
You're American. Proper American.
Brianna, nodding.
Columbus, Ohio. Land of the free. Just heard about this daily workout mandate this morning at the airport. Never seen anything like it. They made me do 200 squats just to get my passport stamped.
Girl 2, grabbing a vape, bitter.
That's nothing. I've been doing forced squats for 6 months. I haven't seen chocolate since the Queen had a corgi. Look at me. I'm still stuck with 30 stone of regret and a food cred debt bigger than me nan's mortgage.
Girl 3, smirking through a milk-stained hoodie.
And now we've got a yank on our side? Finally someone fit who knows this is all bollocks.
Brianna, raising her voice a little, eyes on the fitness class setup.
I didn't come here to watch a bunch of people forced into jumping jacks like it's a boot camp cult. It's not justice. It's not rehab. It's punishment.
Girl 1, tearfully touched.
You're like The Rosa Parks of cardio. Just then, Zainab walks to the front of her class with a headset mic, standing proud before her crowd of lean, energized BritFit loyalists. Her students are warming up with resistance bands and shoulder presses. She glances over at the fat pigs, her sharp eyes finding Brianna instantly. Zainab, into the mic, commanding.
All right, class. Brum burn begins in 60 seconds. And to those ladies standing over there under that sad little tarp.
The entire plaza turns to look at the protesters. Zainab, continuing.
You've got two choices. Join the class. Or go to the tower. There's no skipping the system. Not today. Not ever.
Students, cheering. No pain, no freedom. No sweat, no food. Brianna, stepping forward, holding a protest sign high.
I'm not joining. And neither are they. This is coercion. This isn't fitness. This is forced labor. I'm here to protest with them.
The fat pigs cheer her like she just bench pressed Big Ben. Zainab, coldly, a little sad.
So be it.
Within moments, the low hum of a rapid response Brit-State maglev grows louder. A fleet of lady cops in sleek tactical bodysuits emerges from both ends of the plaza, swift, calm, and strong. Each one wears mirrored glasses and carries a stun pole glowing with red light. Officer 1, grinning as she approaches Brianna.
Hey, look what we've got. We're bringing Her Majesty Yank.
Officer 2, laughing, already cuffing Girl 3.
Bet she thinks she's still got rights. Welcome to Britannia, baby.
Brianna, struggling as she's shackled.
I am an American citizen.
Officer 1, mocking salute.
And now you're Her Majesty's newest barbell carrier.
The fat pigs struggle, one falls over trying to run, another shouts about fitness fascism before getting lifted off the ground by two grinning officers. Brianna is calm but fuming, walking proudly as the cuffs snap around her wrists. They're marched to the open doors of the humming RoboState maglev transport, painted matte black with the insignia of the Tower Correctional Fitness Initiative on the side. From the plaza, Zainab students burst into cheers and clapping, their rhythmic chants echoing off the steel and stone. Students, chanting. Burn the fat. Build the queen. No one's safe. From the sweat machine. As the maglev hisses closed and glides silently away, Brianna's heart pounds. She wanted this. She chose this. But now, stripped of her freedom, her choices, her name, she's no longer Coach Brianna McKee. She's inmate OH 1981. Destination, Tower of London, Labour Camp. Let the pain begin. Your Majesty, Brianna and the fat pigs arrive at the Tower of London. The lady cops lead them into a secured vestibule and then turn them over to a Tower HAFIS enforcement officer, who removes their handcuffs and tells them that Her Majesty will direct them from this point, and then leaves. All of them are scared except Brianna, although she is still extremely curious. And then the voice of Her Majesty begins. She orders them to surrender all of the possessions on their person and prepare for inspection and intake. No jewelry, no makeup, no talking, no expression, show utmost respect for the coaches. After turning in their possessions and clothing, they are told to stand at attention, in complete silence, and they are inspected, disinfected, and then as they stand at attention, Her Majesty gives a long set of strict rules. And then they are led into the next room to be issued their uniforms, an almost comical black and white striped leotard and tights, with the imposing property OF HAFIS stamped strategically on the bum, as Mags McRae mentioned, and the chest, a sort of Jane Fonda meets Shawshank getup. They are told that they will be wearing workout gear at all times because they'll be working out at all times. The maglev glides to a halt inside a fortified enclosure beneath the Tower of London, no tourists here. The doors open with a sharp hiss, revealing a dim, reinforced vestibule bathed in sterile blue lighting. Surveillance lenses track every movement. The lady cops march Brianna and the fat pigs into the chamber, their boots clacking on the smooth concrete. Officer 1, uncuffing Brianna.
This is as far as we go. Her Majesty will see you now.
Officer 2, to the group.
Respect is the only thing that will keep you breathing in here.
With that, the officers retreat. The door behind them hisses shut, and the silence is suffocating. Suddenly, a voice, smooth, regal, and terrifyingly omnipresent, fills the air. Her Majesty, AI voice. Welcome to the tower. You are here because you refused to move your bodies. You are here because your debt exceeds your dignity. You are here because you had a choice, and made the wrong one. You are no longer individuals. You are now assets. The girls exchange terrified glances, except for Brianna, standing tall, absorbing every word with focused intensity. Her Majesty, conted. You will now surrender all personal items. This includes but is not limited to jewelry, makeup, body piercings, hair accessories, eyelashes, cosmetics, vapes, candy, dignity. Do not speak. Do not look at each other. Strip. Face the wall. Hands on head. A hatch in the wall opens with mechanical precision. Bins slide out. Brianna leads the way, dropping in her spike bracelets and pink extensions. One by one, they all comply, fear in their eyes, until they're left in nothing. Her Majesty. Disinfection sequence initiated. Jets of antiseptic mist burst from the walls, covering them head to toe in an icy, menthol stench. Some gasp, others cough. No one speaks. Then, a second door opens. Her Majesty. Stand at attention. Inspection commencing. Drones glide in, a dozen of them, scanning bodies with eerie red light. Each girl is given a number, a fitness category, a nutritional score. No words. Just data and judgment. Once done, the drones exit silently. Her Majesty, tone tightening. You are now entering the realm of order. Here are the rules. Violate them, and you will be punished. You will speak only when spoken to. You will refer to all instructors as coach. You will wear regulation uniform at all times. You will not possess contraband. This includes personal thoughts. You will sweat. Constantly. Joylessly. Without complaint. You will not attempt to escape. The Queen sees all. You are not here to improve. You are here to obey. The intake room door opens. Inside is a sterile rack of uniforms, each identical. Black and white striped leotards and tights. Property OFHAFIS printed boldly across the chest and stamped across the bum in thick industrial ink. No socks. No shoes. No mercy. The girls shuffle in to be issued their gear. One of them starts sobbing quietly. Brianna simply raises an eyebrow at the absurdity of it. Jane Fonda meets Shawshank indeed, but keeps her face expressionless. Uniform tech, dryly.
You'll be working out at all times. So you'll be dressed for it. At all times.
Fat pig girl, weakly.
Do we sleep in this?
Uniform tech.
If you're lucky enough to sleep. Now move.
As they don the skin-tight gear, awkwardly stamping the Queen's brand across their bodies, Brianna catches a glimpse of herself in a mirror, almost unrecognizable. But behind her eyes is a growing fire. She didn't come here to break. She came to witness. To understand. To feel. And maybe. To lead. Even here. Especially here. Your Majesty, a new rule is being imposed just as they are being indoctrinated. As they all know, there is no makeup, not even paint, ink or dirt rubbed on the face, no jewelry, real or makeshift, no personal clothing, no headbands, nothing worn that is not part of the issued uniform, no forms of expression. While nothing can be done about tattoos, there is one form of expression that is surfacing among inmates, especially the radical ones, that is becoming particularly disruptive: unnatural hair colors and wild hairstyles. It seems every new band of inmates has a wild blue, pink or green spiked hairstyle that is far too expressive for this institution. So to combat this, Her Majesty is bringing back a classic staple of conscription, and one that perfectly fits in with the history of the Tower of London: off with the hair. All inmates will have their heads shaved, effective immediately, and have them shaved again on demand. So before they even proceed to the general population, Brianna and her girls are getting chrome domes added to their stripes. Have Her Majesty give a stern speech announcing this new rule. Scene: Tower of London Intake Chamber, Shaving Bay. The inmates stand at attention, now clad in their striped Property OFHAFIS uniforms, still damp from disinfection. A chill hangs in the sterile air. A row of barber chairs waits ominously against the far wall, staffed by silent enforcers in black jumpsuits. A new red light pulses above the room. Something is about to change. And then, the voice returns, cold, commanding, and absolute. Her Majesty, AI voice. Attention, assets. A new directive has been issued. Effective immediately. It has come to the Crown's attention that expression continues to fester among you. In colors not found in nature. In spikes, curls, braids, and brazen rebellion. In the form of hair. Flaunted, flared, and flagrantly defiant. You mistake this institution for a stage. You mistake your scalp for a billboard. You mistake discipline for negotiation. You are mistaken. The lights above flicker cold white. The barber chairs were to life. Clippers hum like bees about to strike. Her Majesty, conted. To restore uniformity. To restore discipline. To restore the honor of this sacred tower. All inmates shall be shorn. No exceptions. No expressions. No escape. Your hair is no longer yours. Your identity is no longer yours. You are property. You are inventory. You are raw material. You will be shaved now. And again. Whenever the Crown demands it. The clippers buzz louder. The enforcers step forward. One fat pig girl trembles and lets out a squeak, but says nothing. Brianna, expressionless but alert, steps calmly into the chair. Her bright pink spikes, gone in moments. Hair falls like contraband to the floor. The chrome dome emerges beneath the steel, shining under the cold lights. Her Majesty, final words. Welcome to the tower. Where your rebellion ends. And your transformation begins. The next girl is called. And the next. One by one, their colors fall, blue, green, violet, neon orange, vanishing into sterile piles. Inmates with matching uniforms and matching bald heads, stripped to the core. Just the way Her Majesty likes it. Your Majesty, now give a long speech, by Her Majesty, about the complete history of British involuntary servitude and conscription. Go from medieval serfdom, naval impressment, military conscription in the World Wars, and how the military conscription of World War II led to the National Health Service, and mentioned the Victorian workhouses, a welfare program, while not of the best conditions, were much better than the homelessness and poverty, and were voluntary. Britain has a history of both involuntary servitude and voluntary welfare as a return for service. But the war which broke Britain bankrupt, in which the NHS rose out of, this NHS, a free welfare program for every citizen, has become a mockery of itself. And now, with Brexit, Hathers, all British citizens have an opportunity to become paid employees of Her Majesty's healing service, by providing their own healthcare voluntarily. And many of you have become in debt by eating terrible foods and living sedentary lifestyles. Now give a long, scathing, venomous, condescending speech from Her Majesty to the residents of the Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp. Why they're here, and now they have their duty to pay back what they've taken. They owe the Crown, and now the Crown owns them. And now it's time for them to pay back in hard, sweaty labour. Scene: the Tower of London, Central Assembly Yard. The newly shaved inmates stand shoulder to shoulder in perfect rows beneath the grey, overcast London sky. Striped leotards cling to their bodies, stamped with property OFHA. No adornments. No individuality. A large monitor flickers to life above the yard, bearing the golden crest of the Crown. And then, Her Majesty's voice, silken, venomous, ancient and artificial, echoes across the yard like the toll of a funeral bell. Her Majesty, AI voice. Welcome, subjects. Welcome to the latest chapter in Britain's long and glorious tradition of service. Let us begin, as all proper histories do, at the root. In the fields of medieval England, you were serfs. Bound to the land, bound to the lord, born into labour and taxed in bread, blood, and bone. You owed your lives to those who protected you. And you paid in sweat. In the age of sale, you were impressed. Snatched from taverns and alleys and forced aboard the ships of the Royal Navy. Many of you drowned in oceans you never wished to see. But Britain ruled the waves. In the world wars, you were conscripted, forced into uniforms, dragged from factories and classrooms into trenches and tanks, into the skies above London and the beaches of Normandy. And you fought. Oh, you fought bravely. And Britain paid for it, with every last coin. Bankrupted by survival. And from the ashes of that war, we gave you something great. The National Health Service. It was not a reward, no. It was an exchange. You gave your blood. And in return, the Crown gave you care. Free at the point of use. But never free of cost. The tone sharpens now. The words dig like steel-tipped drills into the minds of the inmates. But what have you done with our gift? You grew idle. You grew fat. You gorged on sugars and screens. And now your arteries are clogged and your food cred is deeper in debt than the Royal Mint itself. You took advantage. You took and you took. You turned Her Majesty's healing service into a laughingstock. Bloated and broken. Overrun by the very illnesses you chose to inflict upon yourselves. And still you waddled forward. Entitled, indignant. Claiming this was your right. Wrong. The NHS was a pact. And you have broken it. Her Majesty, conted. And now, with Brexit, with Hathers, we forge a new contract. No longer will your care be handed to you like a teat to a suckling child. Now you will earn it. You, dear inmates, are employees of Her Majesty's healing service. Not in hospitals. Not in clinics. But here. In sweat. In pain. In purpose. You have taken from the system. And now you will pay it back. With every squat, every burpee, every agonized lunge under a London sky. This is not cruelty. This is restoration. You owe the Crown. And now, the Crown owns you. The silence in the yard is absolute. Every eye is on the screen. Every mind is numb with fear and understanding. Her Majesty, final words. This is not a prison. This is a proving ground. You will sweat. You will suffer. And if you are lucky, you will be reborn. Welcome to the Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp. Welcome to the Tower. Now move. And just like that, the screen shuts off. Whistles blare. Coaches emerge from all sides, barking orders, snapping batons. The inmates' time of leisure is over. It is time to pay back the debt. With their bodies. With their breath.
Your Majesty, it's 4 p.m. and Brianna McKee and the Fat Pigs are being led to the grueling fitness assessment. How many of each exercise they can do in 91 seconds. Lasts 2 hours, so they know where to place the new subjects. But Brianna, being a tough fitness coach herself, is totally respectful to the coaches and follows their orders without question, and being in such excellent shape she has no problem performing well, but neither can be said about the Fat Pig girls, who are all obese and disrespectful. They are not notified of the results, as this is information gathering for the AI. After the assessment they are sent to the showers. They are then directed to a small cafeteria separate from the general population, for new subjects, where they are given a choice from a fairly wide selection of a very small meal, high in protein, sat fats, no carbs, and then they are ordered to the running track for intermittent sprints and walks, until 9:30, and then again, back to the showers, and then the bunks.
Scene, 4 p.m. hours, Tower of London, Subterranean Fitness Hall. The striped inmates are marched into a cold, steel-paneled chamber lit by harsh industrial lights. On the walls, digital timers flicker with a constant red 91-second countdown. Coaches in black armbands stand like sentinels, clipboards in hand, eyes as cold as their whistles are shrill. A towering sign reads, "Grueling assessment, perform or perish." Coach 221B, barking.
Line up, hands behind your backs. You are here to demonstrate your value. Not your feelings. Not your politics. Your physical worth. Her Majesty will be watching. And she does not reward laziness.
The line forms. The prisoners fidget. Most are breathing heavily already. Not Brianna. Brianna McKee stands still, perfectly at attention. Her freshly shaved head gleams under the fluorescence. Her striped leotard fits like a second skin, the property OFHIFIS stamp a bold contrast to her sculpted frame. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't blink. She nods respectfully to the coach. Coach 221B mutters, impressed.
At least one of you slags knows what discipline looks like.
The whistle blows. The test begins. Each inmate rotates through rapid-fire 91-second intervals of push-ups, sit-ups, burpees, mountain climbers, squat jumps, jumping jacks, high knees, static planks, pull-ups, wall sits. Brianna performs like a machine. No wasted movement. No back talk. By the end, she hasn't even broken stride. But the fat pig girls? Gasping, screaming, swearing. One tries to fake an asthma attack. Another flips off a coach. They're collapsing mid-set, crying about fascism and fat phobia, as the coaches scribble their performance down with merciless efficiency. 7 p.m. showers. The inmates are herded into a sterile white chamber. The showers hiss on automatically. No privacy. No warmth. The water is cold, functional, brutal. A digital sign above reads, "Cleansing is not comfort." 1930, orientation cafeteria, new intake only. The room is cold, minimal, and deadly quiet. Each tray comes with a choice. Grilled mackerel with boiled spinach. Poached eggs with kale and bone broth. Liver pate with avocado slices. Cottage cheese with raw beet slaw. Each portion is about the size of a clenched fist. No carbs. No seconds. No excuses. Coach 8934 stands by the wall with folded arms.
This is more food than you've earned. Eat it. Or don't. Your choice. But know this, you don't get strong on sugar and sympathy.
8 p.m. running track. The sun has set. The floodlights hum above the towering fence. A gravel track loops endlessly around a cold expanse of razor wire and weeds. The command is simple. 90 seconds sprint. 90 seconds walk. Repeat. Until 21:30. Brianna sprints like she was born to. Legs pumping. Arms slicing air. No complaints. No hesitation. A coach jogs beside her, quietly noting her heart rate and form. The fat pigs. Dragging. Vomiting. Screaming at the staff. One tries to fake a limp. Another shouts that this is violating her autonomy. A third collapses dramatically onto the ground and is promptly sprayed with a freezing hydration hose. Coach 8934, not missing a beat.
5 seconds to get back up. Or you'll be carried to bed on a forklift.
21:30, final showers. The group is stripped, sprayed down, and handed threadbare sleep uniforms, a short white nightshirt and white knickers, brief, but surprisingly comfortable. 10 p.m. bunks. Their cell block is long and echoing, lit only by dim red overhead lights. 2-tier metal bunks, stiff sheets, and no personal space. Her Majesty's voice returns, soft but cold. Good night, subjects. Your bodies are not yours. Your will is not yours. Only your progress will be measured. And tomorrow, you begin to earn your existence. The lights click off. Silence falls. And for the fat pigs, the nightmare has only begun.
Your Majesty, I want you to go back to Brianna and the fat pigs having their first night at the orientation cafeteria. They select their meals using a smart wall touchscreen kiosk, and there's a surprisingly decent selection of meals, but for the orientation the selections are small for quick consumption, and the only choices available at the time are the grilled mackerel with boiled spinach, poached egg with kale and bone broth, liver pate with avocado slices, cottage cheese with raw beet slaw, and a grab bag button for anything else prepared and available at the time, followed by a select button. Brianna, following a strict keto diet, selects the mackerel. They are then seated in divided booths, allowing no communication or facing one another. Despite the meager portions and lack of carbs and seed oils, Brianna and the girls actually find the meals quite to their satisfaction, and are definitely magnitudes above what they expected of prison chow.
Scene, Orientation Cafeteria, Tower of London Sweaty Labour Fitness Camp, 6:17 p.m.
The cafeteria is clinical in its cleanliness. Not sterile, but precise, every surface wiped, every booth polished, every light humming just above the comfort threshold. Lining one wall is the smart wall, a glowing panel of touch-sensitive screens where each of the new arrivals, Brianna McKee and the 5 Fat Pig Girls, stand quietly, guided only by curt AI voice prompts and the quiet tapping of fingers.
Please select your orientation meal. You have 15 seconds. Your options are grilled mackerel with boiled spinach, poached egg with kale and bone broth, liver pate with avocado slices, cottage cheese with raw beet slaw, or grab bag. Please make your selection. Brianna, stone-faced and orderly as ever, scans the options quickly. Her body already humming with the aftermath of the grueling fitness assessment, she knows what she needs: protein, omega-3s, clean fuel.
She selects the grilled mackerel with boiled spinach, her fingers striking the screen with conviction. The selection blinks green. The Fat Pig Girls behind her are far less composed. Exhausted, confused, still sore, still seething, but even they stop grumbling when they see the choices.
Fat Pig Girl 1.
Wait, this isn't prison food. That's real liver pate.
Beet slaw. Like raw beets. They didn't even mush it all together. Where are the noodles?
But the AI doesn't wait for their complaints. Smart wall voice. Selection timeout. Randomized grab bag initiated.
Trays slide out from automated slots, each meal perfectly plated on matte black ceramic, no plastic, no clutter, no dignity-saving sauces to hide under. Clean. Unforgiving. The girls carry their trays into a silent room full of divided booths, each sectioned like confessionals. No sight lines. No chatter. Each subject sits alone. Observation panels flicker green as biometric monitoring begins. Brianna sits calmly in her booth, rolling her shoulders, grateful for the moment of stillness. She lifts her fork to the grilled mackerel, eyes narrowing slightly. A bite. She chews. And she nods. Brianna, quietly, to herself.
That's not bad. Actually, that's damn good.
The spinach is just wilted enough, seasoned sparingly. The fish is fresh, firm, and delicately crisped at the edges. It's no indulgence, but it's no punishment either. It's earned fuel. Across the aisle, the fat pigs are experiencing similar revelations, though they'd never admit it. Avocado with liver? Unexpectedly creamy. The cottage cheese? Cold, tangy, protein-packed. Even the bone broth has depth. They don't know if it's the exhaustion, the surprise, or the discipline sinking in, but they eat every bite. In silence. With no scrolling. No screens. No sauces. No second servings. And no distractions. The booth's biometric sensors confirm lowered cortisol and stabilized glucose. The crown is watching, and approving. As trays slide back into retrieval slots, the smart wall flickers one final message before the next command. Smart wall display.
Orientation meal complete. You have been nourished. You have no excuses. Proceed to the track. Their reprieve is over. It's time to sprint.